actually helpful to know a few words of Italian around here. I've been studying Italian now for, I don't know, like a month or so, and it's helpful here in Naples because not everybody knows English. Unlike in Rome, anytime I try to speak Italian with anybody, they're just like, you're terrible at this, I'm just going to talk to you in English. But in a nice way, not like the French. But here, it's like, they actually appreciate that you're trying to make it to Pompeii. You gotta buy a Secchi Susiana ticket. These are it, in the line for it. And it's the only place where you can get them. Got off the train, absolutely packed the whole ride. I mean, like, there was just barely any space to stand. Finally inside the city. This is the original entrance to the original city, and this used to be a port city, so you can see the ocean is way over there. But right there was where the marina used to be, because before Mount Vesuvius blew, the ocean used to come right up to the city, and the volcano added so much liquid stone that it extended the beach out for about another half a mile or so. And this is the actual stone pathways that they walked on 2,000 years ago. And you see these little raised stones? It's because there was so much animal waste and rainwater draining these streets that people could step on these stones to avoid stepping. These sidewalks are also original. They were made of little bits of broken pottery, except for the white stuff, like the marble, and it would need to be reflective so you could walk by moving. Think about these stepping stones. Roman chariots had standard sized axles, so all chariots could fit right through those stepping stones, so they didn't impede traffic. This is the original Roman Forum. And here we go. That's what did it all. We left the Forum and had the Basilica, which was their kind of central court for the whole city. And these stubby columns, you can see they're made out of brick. They were actually in the process of being built. That's why they're all this small size. It's not because they're broken from the volcano. It's because there was an earthquake 17 years before the volcano. It destroyed the basilica, and they were actively in the process of rebuilding it. So you can now see how the Romans would build these columns. They would make them out of brick and then cover them with plaster and make them look like marble. They weren't actually marble columns. You can see it over here. The basilica over there. Right there behind Mount Vesuvius is the temple of Jupiter, who was the main god of the Romans. Basically Zeus. Behind us is a slave market. So this was the original floor. A lot of the decorations and a lot of the marble right immediately after the explosion was kind of plundered. That's why it's not all there, because you would think if it was all buried under ash, everything would be there. But there is some stuff missing, and over the years, it's because after the excavations happened, people plundered a lot of it too. I think this is a very beautiful insight in how a Roman town functioned. This is a big port city of 20,000 people, which is big for its time. And it really shows you the level of detail that went into the city. Sidewalks with plumbing, every house had running water, you had reflective stones in the sidewalks, you had this commerce center that was pedestrian only. They had stones that they would clean the streets. They had stones where you could skip the mud and the water. And then they had stones that would stop the chariots from coming into the pedestrian zones. They had pedestrian-only zones and zones where chariots could ride. And all of this preserved, and buildings under construction that shows you what their technology was like. And it's definitely like just an awesome place to visit. You can't miss this. Look at how cool this is. It's a marble column, but you can see it's not completely round yet. They were still chiseling it out. This was under construction when the volcano erupted. This was supposed to be round, but they never got the chance to finish. It's undergoing construction, or renovation rather, but This used to be the granary. There's some casts of people that died here, but now we can't see them. As we exit the forum, we see more of these barriers that stop chariots from going in. And another thing that tells you that this place is pedestrian only, you got two guys carrying a wine jar. It's like a street sign that shows you that it's pedestrians only, no chariots here. Entrance to the baths. So well preserved. We never think of ancient places as colorful, but they had paintings and yellow paint and painted vases all along the walls. It's probably a very colorful place. Actually, I believe this was the warm room. That was maybe a cool pool. But you can see here, between each statue, you would put your stuff here after you got undressed. These were kind of like your locker rooms. And you can see how richly decorated the roof was. And you can see that there was paint in between these statues. Finally, we have the warm room. So this is a large pool that was heated. And the cool thing is, you see the fluting going like this. So all the condensation will collect and then go off to the side so it wouldn't drip on the people on the inside. Because basically, they would flood this whole thing with water and it would create steam. So this would be like a very steamy, hot room. So this was a fountain where water would constantly be overflowing. And this is where it would hit the ground and create all the steam. And around here is an inscription showing how much the senators paid to have this bath built. Pompeii was already 600 years old. Look at those grooves in the pavement. It was already 600 years old when the volcano erupted. So this is from 600 years of chariots just going up and down, up and down, up and down, wearing these grooves in the stone. Right across the baths, you would have a fast food joint. And all these were just like where they would store the food. And you could just come here and buy a quick meal. That's where they would store the wine, keep the wine cool, keep the food hot. And then these little grooves right here, that's where they put steaks. So then you would have these coverings up here to shield people from the sun while they were out here eating. So many awesome details. Like this right here is where the door tracks ran. So as it would open and close the door, the bottom of the door would run on these grooves. This is somebody's house. Beware of the dog. The dog was chained. And then you would have an atrium area and the rest of the house. This to me is just so incredible. Just the lettering, the fact that this was a mosaic on the floor 2,000 years ago, that we can see it right now, so well preserved. It's remarkable. These arches also served as substations for water. So aquifers would carry the water, and there would be a tank up there that would hold the water. And then all the houses down here had plumbing, so they could turn on the tap, and water from here would flow into their houses. It's so cool, you know, like they made these steps a long time ago. And they had 2-story buildings, and they had apartments, and they had these awesome houses. House of the Faun, the largest house in all of Pompeii, 27,000 square foot.
The garden in the garden was opened, so the upper floor was.
See how this looks like a marble column? You're like, wow, amazing, a whole block made of marble. But it's really a brick column with a plaster veneer made to look like marble. All these columns would have been broken in the earthquake before the eruption of Mount Vesuvius as well, so they were all probably rebuilt with brick. This is probably the richest man in the entire town. The city had running water and plumbing. These are original 2,000-year-old original lead pipes. So all the plumbing ran underneath the sidewalk and it was hidden. Everybody got lead poisoning, you know.
Poi è molto importante in questa cosa qua che sono degli antenati, il mosso maiore. Ho dei fotoni.
Original plumbing of the house. It's not PG-13 anymore.
Thermopolium. You know what it, a thermopolium is? Thermopolium. Well, not hot people say. They take away food.
Pizza.
There you are.
Porque está tan bien conservado.
Walking down this the street to the amphitheater, and I come across this. This would look not out of place in like any modern establishment. It's just like a marble tile countertop. It's pretty cool. This whole area was a large gymnasium. There's a central pool right there for swimming. It's got large 10-foot walls. There's our exhibition in there right now. And we're gonna go check out that amphitheater. This is cool, but less impressive to me because the Colosseum still stands in Rome. What's really interesting about a lot of these gardens is archaeologists went and found traces of what kind of plants were present at the time, and they replanted those similar plants. So what you see is possibly what those people had planted in their gardens. Wow, that's beautiful. This is people 2,000 years ago living like this. Life hasn't changed much. The rich still live like this. So that concludes our little tour. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I had a lot of fun. It's starting to rain a little bit. There's still a bunch of stuff. Like, this place is huge. I may have seen maybe 5% of it. There's still a whole bunch of stuff to see, but you know, there's only so much time, and I think we'll just call it a day here in Sorrento. Got myself a granita. I thought it was gonna be much bigger than this. I feel a little ripped off.
Carlos, me voy allí.
Puedes decir que hizo té.
Trying the gelato here at Rocky in Sorrento. It's a bit more expensive, so for €4 here you get 2 scoops versus 4 scoops in Naples, but it's still pretty good. But this is known to be a bit of an overpriced town, so I got a little bit of lemon sorbet. It was only €2, and it's really, really delicious. And I think that's the best kind of food there is, when there's only a little bit of it and then you miss it later, then you have this good memory of it rather than you stuff yourself and then you're like, oh, I'm so tired of it. This is really good.